Hi, this is Sherry with a question for you. Why do you think your knees need strong muscles to support it? Well, I'll tell you why. Yesterday I was at lunch with a yoga teacher friend of mine, and she told me that she has no meniscus or no ACL on one of her knees. And I was shocked. I'm thinking, you're walking around, you're teaching yoga, you look so strong, you look so sturdy. How do you do that? She says, I work on strengthening all the muscles around my knees. Now, you know I've been saying that and preaching that for quite some time. All of you who are doing my Strong and Sturdy video series, or if you're doing the Strong Legs video I shared on YouTube, you know what we're trying to do. We're trying to create strength in the muscles that support our knees. Well, let's look at those two common things that we have trouble with our knees. Most of the time, injuries have caused this. An ACL, what is that? That's your anterior cruciate ligament. It is in the center of your knee, and it helps to stabilize your knee. It helps it so that you don't hyperextend your knee. So that's why you never want to balance with your knees locked and super straight. Never want to do that. Not a good thing for your knees, right? The ACL helps to keep that stable. The ACL also helps you with the rotational ability of your knee. If you didn't have your ACL, you could possibly be tweaking your knee sideways and twisting. So that ACL helps with that. You can see how that can get injured if we did something that twisted our knee a little bit too much. That's why it's really big with sports. She doesn't have an ACL, so she's got to make sure not to twist that knee too much. But guess what? Her muscles are helping her keep that knee in great alignment. Let's talk a little bit about the meniscus. What is that? I think we all hear about a torn meniscus. Well, it's actually a little crescent-shaped little rubbery cartilage that sits in the middle of your knee. And it helps with stabilizing your knee, and it acts like a shock absorber, basically. If you don't have a meniscus, don't you think those two sections of your knee rubbing together without that meniscus would hurt? Absolutely. But if you strengthen the sides of your knees, the centers of your knees, the front and the back of your knees, your thighs, your hamstrings, your shins, your calves, all of those muscles around that, then you're going to have a stabilization factor in your knee that maybe the ACL and the meniscus doesn't provide for you. Now, the ACL and the meniscus are just two pieces of a very complex connective tissue bandage, so to speak, that covers your knee. So let's look at these images and the connective tissue at all different angles. And you can see they crisscross, they wrap, they go vertically, they go horizontally, diagonally, and you can see how strong this makes your knee. Well, as we age, those connective tissue pieces, they can get lax, they can get damaged, and that creates instability in our knees. And that's why sometimes people wear braces, which makes sense, right? It's almost like they're mimicking what this connective tissue does to their knee. But a brace is not a long-term solution. The long-term solution is getting those muscles that surround your knee to take the place, maybe, of some connective tissue that's not quite doing its job thoroughly. And that's why we do the work. So if you're doing my Strong Legs video on YouTube, or you're doing the Strong and Sturdy series on Yoga JP TV with me, then you know the reason why we're doing that. Because we want to create the stability in our muscles in order to hold those knees. Now, if you're over the age of 50, and I am, and I've got some knee issues, you know that we've got to work at it, don't we? Yeah, so why do I like yoga for strengthening my knees? Well, basically, it works from the inside out. I bet you've heard this saying, if you've gone to any yoga classes, if you had some yoga teachers using this saying, I bet you've heard it. Hug your muscles into the bone. What does that really mean? How do you do that? How do you engage your muscles and like pull them in and shrink them in and tighten them in, right? Well, I'm going to show you a series of images that are going to layer on your muscles and your muscles and your muscles and your muscles and your muscles of your legs, and you'll realize, like, oh my gosh, there's such a deep layering aspect to the muscles of your legs. So if you go to the gym and you just do all of those motions like this, and motions like this, right? They're going to get the outside of those muscles to be strong. That will look good. You'll have that little dimple there in the quadriceps. But what we want to do with yoga is we want to create the strength from the inside of our structure. So the muscles closest to the bones we want strong, and the next layer, and the next layer, and the next layer. So all the layers of your muscles in your legs are going to be there for stabilization and for strength. And they're going to function for you really, really well. So why am I so passionate about knees? Well, I think if you're over the age of 50, you probably have some kind of knee issue going on. Maybe you've had a knee injury back in your day. Maybe your knees just feel kind of weak and wobbly. Maybe you just have a periodic like twinge of pain that you don't know what's causing it. I'm telling you that that's a common thing. But guess what? If we get strong again in all those muscles and the structure of our legs, we're going to feel better. We're going to be able to do our activities a little bit more at ease. Now, I'm an anatomy geek. Right here I've got my anatomy book. Here I've got the key muscles of yoga. There's the kneecap and all the muscles that support it. I even have a yoga anatomy coloring book. I just got it. I'm so excited about it. This one is by, Katie Lynch. And I am so excited because she takes apart all the muscles and you can color them as any kind of colors you want. So that's why I just love to share this stuff with you, because I think when it makes sense about why we're doing certain things and why we're holding and why we're in a certain angle when we're in our yoga poses, it makes sense. Then we'll do it. And for me, logic is everything. I want things to make sense. I love the woo-woo aspect of yoga because I love all the meditation and the breathing and the mind and the body and the spirit and all those kind of things. But I love yoga because of the structural integrity it gives our body when we do the work. So I just wanted to reach out to all of you who are doing my Strong Leg series to tell you a little bit of why we're doing those poses, why we're holding them as long as we are, and why we're doing some compensation movements, right? We're getting those quads strengthened, we're getting those hamstrings strengthened, and we're working on our balance, right? One leg to be able to create that strength, that stability that we want. So I'm going to give you some encouragement. If you don't have an ACL, if you have a torn meniscus, make sure to always check with your doctor about those injuries, right? I'm not saying don't get them fixed. I'm not saying go about your merry way without dealing with those things. But also remember that if you create a little bit of strength, a little more strength in your knees, you will probably be a little less in pain, and maybe you can forego some kind of operation or a knee replacement. So just sharing that little tip with you. I hope you are doing my Strong Legs YouTube video, and I hope you're participating in my Strong and Sturdy Yoga JP TV series. It's an amazing series. You'll love it. All the practices are only 15 to 20 minutes long. You can do it without your yoga clothes on, and you're there to just get strong, sturdy, and have your legs feel strong again. Namaste to you all.